Then came to the popular definition of economics, which is basically used in most books by Lionel Robbins. Lionel Robbins also stressed on the concept that the idea that economics is science. But he also introduced three concepts into it. One, he introduced the concept of scarcity and also introduced the concept of choice making. Because whenever there's scarcity, then there's the need for us to make a choice from our alternative available resources. Now, what he's saying is that he defines economics as science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. And then Paul Robinson's definition came in, which is the most standard and the widely accepted definition. Now, he also agrees with Lionel Robbins that economics is science. But he says that economics is science that studies how human or man or society chooses from scarce productive resources that have alternative uses to produce goods and services for distribution, consumption, and consumption now or in the future. So these are basically how various economists saw economics. So we could see the trend, we could see the various concepts, and we could see the common variables or indicators that are running through the definition of economics. So it is no more considered as the creation of wealth alone, but we are seeing it as the concept which deals with the issue of scarcity. And since there is scarcity, there is also choice making. And also see that economics is not only about production, it also has to do with the distribution of goods and services that are being produced now and that will be used for consumption in the future. And we also know that economics has widely been accepted as a science from both all the economics that have tried to come out with different definition to the discipline. So this tells us something that there is not distinct definition to the discipline economics. There are various definitions of economics. And if you check into various textbooks or various economics textbooks, different authors have different ways of defining what economics is. And we have tried to put up some of the various definitions from various authors here for us to look at it. So if you look at any book, I don't know the book that you may be using, but if you have any book that you may be using, you'll see that the definitions and or how these authors capture the definition actually varies. So one that I put here is that says that the study of the choices we make among our many wants and desires, given our limited resources. Another is saying that economics is the study of choice when there is scarcity. So if you do remember, I said that whenever there is scarcity, there is the need for us to make choices. We'll be looking at that. And another definition also says that from the third point, we are saying that it is a science that is concerned with the efficient use of our scarce resources to achieve the maximum satisfaction of economic wants. So the basic thing that we need is that not that the resources aren't there, the resources are there, they are scarce. But our wants, things that we need to acquire, are many. And because the resources are very scarce, what we intend to do is how to optimize or maximize the satisfaction that we want. So if it's about production, how do we maximize production? If it's consumption, how do we maximize consumption? How do we get the best needs from the scarce resources that we have? The last one, we are saying that it is the study of how man makes decisions in the face of scarcity. This can be individual, a family decision, it can also be a business decision, or it can also be in a societal decision. So we can look at household decision of how to make a decision, how households are making decision in order to derive maximum satisfaction from the scarce resources, or how businesses, that is firms, are also making decisions from their available scarce resources, and also how society, particularly the government, is also making use of available resources in terms of the revenue that he accrues through taxes. How is he going to spend it and get the maximum satisfaction from it? This is what economics actually deals with. Now, to avoid controversy, we can simply define economics as what economists do. Okay, and this means that it is easier for us to describe economics than to define it, since we have seen that economics definition there are a lot of definitions, and there are a lot of how different authors do approach to the definition of economics. But people can easily describe economics than defining it based on how we approach it. Okay, so this is the working definition of economics that can be adapted. I'm not saying that one of the definitions that we have given supersedes the other, but one is more appreciable and very simple. Now we are saying that it is a science that studies how society uses their limited resources, which have alternative uses, in an attempt to satisfy their own limited human wants. Okay, now let's look at some of the. Please, is there any question?
Hello.
Hello.
So I
Can I
have a
go?
question.
Yeah, okay, please go ahead.
My name is Ali.
Ali, please go ahead,
Yeah.
Ali.
Does that mean that during examination we can choose any of the definitions?
Yes, but be accurate. You can choose not from like Adam Smith's definition, because he says that it is inefficient, it's inaccurate.
Okay.
So you can choose that of Lionel Robbins. You can also choose the ones that I've given you. They all define economics. So one, Lionel Robbins, if you can go back small, and Paul Robbins, Samuelson's definition are commonly used in every textbook that I've seen.
Okay.
Sir, please, I also have a question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
My name is Sarah.
Sarah, go ahead.
According to what he's saying, I just wanted to know, so if you state the reason, say you've taken Lionel Roberts' own, there has to be some sort of examples or proof to back your points, or it's just that you just state it and you go.
Oh, if they ask you to define economics.
Okay.
See, I mentioned some key indicators in the definition. Like one, has to be a science, and two, scarce resources, and three, they need to make choices.
Okay.
So if the question is demanding that you explain those keywords, fine, you go ahead to explain those keywords.
Yes.
But if the question is only asking you just to define, then I believe that by the definition you are okay.
Yeah, okay.
So there are some keywords that we can be looking at, and that as you have started doing economics, you will be meeting it frequently, like the issue of distribution, the issue of consumption, and the issue of scarcity, and the issue of making alternative choices, making choices from available resources. So these are some of the things that you are going to be meeting from time to time as you study economics. But we could see that even from the various definitions that I've given, that I said the last definition is very simple. The working definition that I said is very simple. Okay. It is, however, mentioning some of the key variables, like the issue of scarcity, the issue of science, and the issue of alternative uses from our wants. So you can see that we are saying that human wants are what? Our desires are unlimited. It means we need a whole lot of things, but the resources to satisfy them are scarce, are limited. So either I say that there's scarcity, or I say there is limited available resources. I'm actually meaning the same thing. Please do understand. Good. So from the various definitions that we have mentioned, there are some key variables. When I say key variables, what I mean is key indicators that we came across. One from the father of economics, which is Adam Smith's definition. We heard of the creation of wealth. And two, we also heard of choice making. And three, we heard of distribution, consumption, and production of resources. And I also heard of efficient management and use of scarce resources that have alternative uses. And we also said that economics is a science. But here I have added that economics is not as exact science as chemistry, as biology. But economics, since we are dealing with human behavior, we consider economics as a soft science, or as a social science, or as a behavioral science. So any of these things that you see in your exams actually mean the same thing. Either it's a behavioral science, it's a social science, or it's a soft science. Because economics actually deals with human behavior, and human behavior is said to be erratic. And hence, it's quite difficult for us to predict human behavior. That is why some predictions that economics do not actually come through. Not because they made a wrong prediction, but human behavior is quite difficult to predict. Please do understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let's go on. So because of these things that I've said, we consider economics. Economics is regarded as a science because it uses scientific methods like the natural sciences. And just like other social sciences, like the political sciences, the sociology, and psychology, we use scientific methods in coming out with our conclusions. So economists don't just come out with conclusion, or they don't just come out with a solution or a recommendation for policymakers. But before we come out with a recommendation or a conclusion of an economic theory, it goes through what we call scientific approach. So in economics, there is a theory that says, oh, the higher the government, the tax revenue, the higher the tax rate, the higher the tax revenue, which is the Laffer curve, describing how government may make more revenue when government increases its tax rate. And this same Laffer curve tells us that when government increases its tax revenue excessively, tax returns may decline. Now, for you to come out with such a positive statement, it needs to go through scientific or some scientific methods or scientific scrutiny before you can come out with such a statement. Okay, and this scientific scrutiny, not only economics does that, psychologists, sociologists, and also political scientists, and even any other discipline within the arts or social sciences do same. And why are we saying economics is science? It follows scientific procedures. So economists attempt to find a body of law of nature through scientific methods, which consist of a number of elements. Now, to do this, one, we carefully and systematically do observation, and we measure such observations. For instance, aside the Laffer curve that I've told you, there's also saying that whenever price declines, quantity demanded of a commodity increases. The reverse holds. Now, this thing, before economics will test such an observation, they need to make a thorough such a statement. They need to make a thorough observation. They need to observe that anytime price of goods increases, quantity demanded of the other good actually falls. Now, after making such observation, we need to make a statement. And that statement is that an increase in price has an influence on quantity demanded. If demand and supply is actually what we are trying to look at. For instance, I can say that an increase in price has no effect on quantity demand. This is just a statement. And such a statement has not been tested. And this statement is what we call a hypothesis. So for you to make a careful observation statement, one, after observation, you need to make a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is just to create a testable statement or a predictive statement that can pose a relationship between two variables in research. So if you look at the statement that I made here, in my example, let me use the laser. It says that a price increase has no effect on quantity demanded. So when you look here, we have two variables here. We are looking at one variable is the price, and the second variable is the quantity. So somebody will ask me, what is a variable? A variable is just a name that we are giving to something. Okay. So when I see you and I call you a man, you are a variable. A man, you are a variable. Things that I'm taking from you, data that I'll take from you, you become a variable. So if you remember, Ghana Statistical Service just gave the poverty dimensional multi-poverty index, multi-dimensional poverty index. That has become a controversy. So if I write poverty in itself is a variable. Okay, and a variable we are saying that should be measurable. That is if it's measurable, then we can test it. And quantity demanded is also a variable as well. So a hypothesis is just a statement that is showing a relationship between two variables in such a way that it can be tested. Okay, so this is what economists do. We make statements between two relations or even three relations and make sure that those variables that we have included in our statements can be tested. Now, after testing the hypothesis, we take it through a series of rigors, scientific rigors. And these scientific rigors, we take data from your observations. So if I want to know how price is affecting quantity demand in our example, I'll take data, a long-time data, on price of goods and services. For instance, I can take the price of fuel across time, and then I can also go ahead and take the quantity of fuel that have been bought. First, I can look at the trend. The trend by just looking at a scatter plot or putting up a linear graph, a line graph between these two variables. I can look at the graph that is showing the trend of price increase and the trend of quantity demand of fuel, or the price of the quantity of fuel that is being bought at a time. Okay, and in economics, we have some estimations that we do. We do estimations. I know that as you progress, you will begin to understand those ones. We do estimations using various methodologies, and the simple methodology that we can use has to do with an OLX.
You can hear.
Sir, please, we can't hear you.
It seems he has muted himself. Oh. Maybe he's gotten a call or something.
Yeah, it could be so.
Election open.
So, Mumbiza. However, we go for
So,
the
Hello.
More
Sir.
open, I don't know.
No, Charlie, everything you said, I heard it too. I actually didn't mute myself. I don't know what happened. You said you can't hear me.
I
You said you
thought
can't
I
hear me.
actually thought you
Oh, so
had
you
a
can hear
call.
you now.
Oh no. I'm on it. But I told you I'm presenting from the background. So
Okay.
whatever goes there, I may not hear. So just prompt me, okay?
Okay, sir.
I would not deliberately pick a call whilst I'm lecturing. I will
Okay, sir.
not do that. Okay.
Oh no. So we were just assuming
I
that.
understand. Don't
Let's be
worry.
mindful of our comments next time, guys.
Don't worry. I heard everything. So don't worry. It's okay. So let me share it again and we will continue. Okay. So whatever happens, because I'm not here, I'm not be saying. Just prompt me. Okay. If unless I unshare before I can see you. So where did I get to? That the line you were not hearing me. Where did I get to? So that I'll start from there.
You were giving us some examples.
Oh, okay. Is it about I set a series of examples? I mentioned the Laffer curve and the quantity demand of price and use and services.
Yes.
Yes.
Price. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sorry. When I'm lecturing, I will not pick a call. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Or when I do it like this, it's okay. Can you see it?
Yes, sir. You can see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see it.
if we can just zoom in, so just
But does the slide move?
Say zoom it small for us.
Okay, then let me unshare it then. Normally, unless I close it and reopen. It will take some few minutes, okay. I'm finding it difficult to share the screen. So please give me some time, okay? I'm coming. I'm finding it difficult to share.
Okay, sir. That's it. And I say that screen recording.
Telling me the same thing. It's asking me to restart my browser. I don't want to. Please let me log out and log in. Okay. Let's see.
All right, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Emmanuel.
Bambila. The tree banana for on our front like that.
Emmanuel. Is that boy sleeping? Okay, thank you.
That's this. So for are you in Koforia?
Do you want to kidnap me? Because this way, yeah, I give up my location there.
Nah, I'm just asking. Maybe we can link up or something.
Don't worry, we'll talk. Maybe we should tell that boy to put the link in the group before I come where he is.
So are we also creating a group for economics?
Yeah, there is. He's coming to put the link in the group.
Okay.
I've already added the people that have their number.
Okay.
Please, you people should put it in a group right now or something.
That's fine.
This is the problem. Another channel I find.
So please can someone define Paul Samuelson definition for economics?
Is the scientific study of how individual or organization or a group of people deals with problems of scarcity.
Relax. Okay, you can start.
Okay. It's not only one definition. No. There are lots of definitions there. So the one you think is okay for you, and then you take that one.
I want that of Paul Samuelson.
Okay.
Okay, so
Economics is a body of law of nature.
From
Hello.
for Samuelson.
from Professor, okay, so from Professor Wilson, it's a
Uh-huh.
science that studies how a man
A
Hello.
science.
that studies how a man
Okay.
or society
Or
chooses from
society.
chooses
Hello.
from
Hello.
Or society does what?
chooses from scarce productive
Okay.
resources. Scarce productive resources
Okay.
that have alternative uses
Okay.
to
But
produce
from my understanding, uh,
goods.
economics is a science that study human activity.
Yeah, from him, it's all accepted, but it seems he wanted us to give like the one with the concrete evidence, It was okay. So please, where are you now?
That's have alternative
Uses
uses.
to produce goods
Okay.
and services
All right.
for distribution and consumption
Distribution.
now or in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Can you see me? Can you see my slides now?
No, sir.
Hello.
Not yet, sir.
Still telling me the same thing. Can't share. Can't share. Oh, what is the problem? Why?
But like issue with pan the problem because practical side pan be a bad yama.
Restart your browser. Okay.
Ryan, me, I just came in. What is going on?
Hey, Charlie. We just did here. The class, Charlie. I don't know if it be the app where they mess up or it be network. I don't know. But them start the class already. During the class, some one or two things happen. I don't know if it's the network or whatever. But the lecturer is trying to start everything again.
Okay. Now, we go stand by.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Actually, his screen went off, so he's trying to share his screen.
Okay, thank you.
Have we all seen the link?
Yes, it's in the chat. So you can
Okay.
join the platform.
All right, sure. Sister Aisha, your hands is up.
Please, I don't know whether this will be okay with us. For those of us that just joined, I don't know.
What do you want to do?
I don't know yet.
I've been here, but not joined. I don't know whether I'm making a point.
I don't.
Yes, sir, we can see you.
Yes, but I just want to share the slide. I don't know why.
But Seta, I think maybe if it's not coming, you can just lecture us to us later on and you give us the slides. Or in case.
Will you be able to follow? If
Master, we will try to.
Yeah, at
No,
least.
please, that will help. That will help.
if there is a I'm coming out, I want to use a different machine and log in and see.
All right.
Okay, sir.
If we're having a like what do we call a page that I can just send. Like
Yes, we've created the page, so we will add you. I wanted to ask before so that we
Okay.
add you.
Okay. Let me use a different machine to log in. See how.
All right, sir.
This machine is going to always.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, please. I'm on.
Hello, please. Is our lecturer back? Or still?
I'm there.
Oh, okay.
He's around.
I'm there. I just want to share the slide, and it's giving me a feedback here. That's concern. So let me use a different machine to see if it will work.
Please.
I shall.
Is this
Why is this one sharing that one? So, you could see this one, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't
Yes, sir.
understand my PowerPoint is concerned.
Also,
Yes,
please,
this one. If we zoom in, we can see.
also, please,
Yes.
you can open the PowerPoint and then duplicate your screen.
That's what I want to do something like that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
If
Just
I
zoom
try
in.
to
If you
share,
zoom in, you see. Just zoom in.
yeah, if I share the PowerPoint, it doesn't come. I don't know why. I've opened the PowerPoint. This is just a different place that I share. Let me see if this one will come. Is this one okay?
Yes, sir. It's coming.
Yes,
Sir.
this one
It's
is
there. It's
showing.
there.
This one is showing, sir.
So you can. Is it
Yes, let's use this one.
Yes, sir.
is it moving?
Please, those who
Yes.
are not saying anything to
Yes, this
contribute
okay.
to helping
Okay.
the class go on, should mute their mics, please.
So please let me look at. Let me use this, okay, to present and I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
sir, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
We can hear you.
Let me use this one for now. These are just an improvise. Subsequent ones, my slides are not going to be this. I don't
Okay.
like to present in the. I always prefer to present in the show mood. I hope now you
Okay.
can see it's bigger.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So let's improvise this one. Okay. So from the argument I was making, I said that why is economic a science? And I was explaining that economic is science because one, we use a scientific procedures before we come out with a conclusion and a recommendation. Okay. So every statement that an economics will make, we just don't make it from vacuum. We just don't say it. It goes through a logical process. And I'm saying that one, before we can make any statement, we need to observe the economic situation. And I gave you an example that assuming that anytime prices of oil, that's fuel, increases, people's response to the amount of oil to consume declines. So when economists see this, first thing they do is to observe the situation. Now, when they observe the situation, they make a statement from this situation. And the statement that they make shows a relation between two variables. And I mentioned what a variable is. It's just a name that is using to represent something. So when I say a female or a gender, gender itself is a variable. When I say age, is a variable. So we will get numbers under it. Now here, what I'm saying is that we have price. So if price is a variable, then we can collect price trend of fuel or of petrol or diesel or whatever we are interested in. And then we will also look at the quantity of such commodity that was bought. Okay. Now, when we do that, we can just do an estimation, a linear estimation or a linear regression with an economic method. And I'm saying that we have a lot of economic methodologies. We have the ordinal least square estimation, which is the least one. We have the generalized least square estimation. We have the mean group, the pool mean group, OLX. We have the GMM and a lot. So we do this, we estimate the relation, and the relation will come out in the form of either there's going to be it's going to be a linear relation, like I've represented here. Okay, the one where I've highlighted. Please, can you say it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, you can see.
So when we run a linear regression, this is a linear regression. The one I've highlighted is a linear regression, and we have been seeing this in most of our work, particularly even in secondary schools. We try to write a relation between two variables, x and y variables, and they will tell you that draw a graph to show that relation. Okay. Now you see the B1, the B2 there. They are only the slope. They are representing the slope or the coefficients, and they determine the impact. So when you run a regression and based on the t statistics or the p value, you can either refute the statement that you make, okay, or accept the statement that you have made. Now, when you refute the statement that you have made, it means that you have just rejected the hypothesis. Please do understand. You have just rejected the hypothesis. And when you accept the hypothesis, it means you have taken the hypothesis. And based on the hypothesis, we use the hypothesis to come out with findings. And based on our findings, we can make predictions, we can make inferences, we can also forecast. And based on the forecast, the inferences and the predictions, we make necessary recommendations. Okay, so economists will tell you that anytime price of goods and services increases, quantity demand of that particular commodity declines. So if that is it, we can predict that a fall in price will lead to a future increase in quantity demand of fuel. We can also forecast that when we have a bumper harvest, then there is a higher likelihood that price of goods and services is going to fall. Please do understand. And then based on this, we make recommendation that one recommendation is that government should support farmers with what? Implement. It's a recommendation so that they can increase their productivity. It's a recommendation. Now, when you have a hypothesis, so we are saying that a continual testing of a hypothesis against a fact, okay, we continuously test the hypothesis. I have come out with my hypothesis. I have tested my hypothesis, and I'm saying that prices will drive quantity demand. Now, Ali, you also go ahead to test the same thing that I've tested. And then Sarah may also do same. Now, when we do this and we are getting the same results, then the hypothesis now becomes a theory. Okay, so we now have the theory of demand and the theory of supply. We have the consumer theory or the production theory. It becomes a theory. And when a theory stays for long, it becomes a law. So what we are saying is that if favorable results accumulate, the hypothesis evolves, becomes into a theory. A very well tested and accepted theory is referred to as a law or a principle. So we have the law of demand, which is well accepted as well. Now let's go on. Laws, principles, and models enable economists, like the natural sciences, to understand and explain reality and to predict the various outcomes of a particular action. Economic laws and principles are usually less certain than the law of physics. This one, I'll explain it. The predictions in economics are not as exact as we have in natural sciences. And because I told you that human behavior is erratic and it's very difficult to predict, economists may not be able to get our predictions right. And for this reason, economics is described as a soft science or as a social science as well, or as a natural science, as a social science. So the fact that man is a subject of observation and may not be easily be subjected into strict tests and prediction. Please do you understand this area? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is an area that I've explained already. And I told you that human behavior is erratic. And because our behavior is erratic, we do what? It's quite difficult for you to predict or forecast human behavior and get it right. Human can change their behavior as one way or the other. Now let's look at various economic behavior. Okay, we have self-interest behavior. So we have self-interest. The self-interest, we ask various questions like, why did you come to lectures today? And why do people go to work? Now, economists assume that most individuals act as if they are motivated by self-interest and respond in predictable ways by changing circumstances. So self-interest simply means that you are seeking your personal gains. Okay, looking at seeking your personal gains. That is self-interest. So to a worker, self-interest means that pursuing a higher pay, getting a better job, getting a good working condition. And these are some of the interests of economists. Actually, this is not part of the in the model, but I brought in for advancement. Please do understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's not in the model, but I brought it in for that so that as we progresses or you progress in your career, you know the various interests that are in economics. So we have your self-interest, which we are looking at your selfish gains or your personal gains. And if you are a worker, your self-interest is that you get the better pay. Now, the self-interest of the producer is that for him, you give him the maximum output. Now, to a consumer, self-interest means that you are getting a greater level of your satisfaction from your limited income or your limited resources as well. So let's keep it for keeping sake. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
the biggest question that we are trying to ask ourselves is that when you talk about self-interest, does it mean that you are greedy or you are immoral?
Sir, please, can you repeat the one you just said?
I'm saying that from the self-interest that we have just defined, that we are saying that we have self-interest. When we say somebody, a worker, the worker's self-interest is to see his personal gains first. Okay. So does it mean that if you are being self-interested, does it mean you are greedy?
No.
No.
Does it mean so?
No.
No. No. And then we also have societal or rational behavior. Human beings will behave rationally. Is that not it? Now, have you ever been accused of being irrational? That's a basic question that we are asking. Are you doing something that someone can say, oh, you are behaving irrational?
Yeah.
So a rational behavior will one try to always optimize. Is that not it? If you want to if you're a rational behavior, then it means that you always want to you optimize any benefit or any cost. So if there's a cost coming in your life, as a rational being, you would like to minimize it. Is that not it? If it's a cost. Now, if it's a benefit, you would like to have the maximum benefit out of it. Is that not it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
please, the slide is off.
Yeah, talk, please. Please talk.
Please, the slide is off.
The slide is what?
Off.
Is there?
Is there, please. I don't want to tamper with it again.
Yes, no.
So let's check and see. If you are using a phone, just scroll. So when we talk about being rational, it's when our actions are said to be predictable. Our actions are very sensible and our actions are logical. Okay. So it is one individual or an economic agent. So when I say economic agent, I am referring to the individual household. I am referring to the firm, and I'm also referring to the government. Please do you understand here? So anytime you see me making references to economic agent, I'm making reference to the government, the individual, as well as the firm. And we are saying that for a rational being, you must we make choices which provide us with optimum amount of benefit. So our choices will provide us with what? Optimum amount of benefit. Now, so that is just the basics of rational behavior. So let me skip the rational behavior. Now that we understand rational behavior, we are going to make assumptions using rational behaviors. That's why I brought inside. So So now let's look at some common asked questions. Questions that still remain unanswered. Okay. So we are saying that production, consumption, and technological change. How do people choose what to consume? How to consume? And how are these choices affected by the choice, the discovery of new way of doing things? So this is a basic question that as a researcher you may try to answer. So what determines people's income? What determines people's income? Why are some people richer than others? What determines the inequality gap within the system? Why do some people receive much higher reward than others, even though we are putting in the same effort? This is also a research question that economists try to do, to find answers to. Now, when we go to the issue of unemployment, we also look at certain issues that are related to unemployment, because unemployment is an economic issue. So we are looking at what are some of the causes of unemployment, and why are some groups more or severely affected than others? What is causing the discrepancies? Why do government spending and taxes influence economic life? What happens when the government has a deficit? Government deficit simply means that government is spending more than what is earning. What happens when government is spending more than what is earning? So these are some of the basic economic questions that are usually asked, and that's what economics actually find answers to. We also try to look at questions related to inflation, issues related to international trade. Issues related to international trade has to do with openness. Okay, what determines the pattern and the volume of trade between the nations? What is the effect of tariffs and quotas on international trade? So this could be an interest of an economist. Now, in terms of poverty and wealth, what causes the differences in wealth among people or among nations? Why is US richer than Ghana? Why is that some countries, the individuals, the citizens within them are richer and others are poor? Okay. So the questions above, we have outlined what economists will do. Economists would like to talk about some of these things and also like to write about them. There are a lot of them. Why are people still degrading the environment, even though there are measures by the government to restrict environmental pollution? Why is Ghana's institutions so relaxed? So these are some of the things that economists will try to write on. Now, about production and organization, distribution of income, about prices and inflation. What is accounting for the recent decline in the multidimensional poverty? Okay, and the motive of all these things that we try to do as an economist is to ensure that there is an expansion in the economy, which is economic growth. Government putting in taxes, government giving subsidies, all these things are there. Government transfers, ensuring openness or encouraging trade. The main focus is to motivate economic growth and development. Now let's go to the various scopes of economics. Now, economics has two main scopes. One, we have the micro, and two, we have the macro. So if you do remember, this course is microeconomics. So, but we need to understand what entails between the two. Now, the word micro itself means that it's an English word that means minute or small, whilst macro can be interpreted as something that is large. So when we say microeconomics, the main objective or the decision is based on individual households. Now we talk about individual households, We are talking about the firms, we are talking about the consumers, we are talking about the economy, or we are talking about a specific project. So here, our emphasis is not on the economy as a whole. We are not looking at the entire economy, but we are looking at specific issues, specific projects. Why is the price of fuel, petrol, increasing? And how is the household adapting to the change in the price of fuel? It's a microeconomic issue. So we are saying that microeconomic is concerned with optimizing behaviors of individual firms, individual industries, consumers, and it deals with the effect of individual taxes and specific public spending programs. So with that, we are not looking at the totality of the economy. We are looking at how specific program is driving a specific sector of the economy. We are looking at consumer behavior. We are looking at the production of a firm. So the goal of a microeconomics is to understand how the actions of consumers and producers affect price and outputs. Microeconomic analysis offers detailed treatment of individual decision about particular commodity. So the emphasis here is on particular commodities. A study of the level of output and employment of a particular industry in Ghana. Particular industry in Ghana is a microeconomic economy. Please do understand. Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can
Okay.
go on.
So they are also concerned with how individual households make choice. How individual households are making choices is also a concern to microeconomics. So we look at what to buy, how much to buy, and when to buy. These are microeconomic decisions. For instance, we are concerned with why individual households prefer a car to a bicycle. So we are looking at what to buy. Microeconomics is based on how decisions are made by individuals, by firms, and the consequences of these decisions. So why is that people prefer cars to a bicycle? It's a microeconomic issue. Okay. Now let's look at an issue that entails a macroeconomy. Now this is also a branch of economics that deals with economic behavior of the aggregate economy. So this one, we are looking at the economy as a whole. We are not looking at specific sectors of the economy, or we are not looking at the firm or the household as well. We are looking at the aggregate income. Aggregate means the addition, all households together, their income. So we are looking at national income. We are looking at unemployment. We are looking at inflation of all goods and services. Macroeconomics, it also looks at the interaction in the economy as a whole. So here we are looking at the economy as a whole. How economic agents are interacting within the economy as a whole. It is concerned with the aggregate behavior of consumers and producers. So here we are looking at the totality of the economy in general, but not on specific economic agents or specific economic projects. How the action of all individuals, all firms in the economy interact to produce a particular level of an economic performance as a whole. Primarily, it deals with the explanation of the country's overall level of economic activities. So, if the goal of macroeconomy is to identify the factors that influences the level of national product or national income. So some of the factors that drive your aggregate income or the national income, you could look at one, you could look at exports, you could look at investment, you could look at money supply, or any other thing, employment, anything that is helping the economy to drive, the macroeconomic to drive in general. Okay, so we try to put some of the differences here between micro and microeconomics. Now we are saying that with the microeconomics, it deals with the individual unit. We are looking at individual household and individual firms. Whilst the macroeconomy is to look at the aggregate of the economy as a whole. Now the macroeconomy also deals with national income. And with the micro, they are concerned with individual households' income. So this is just a small table that I put up just to distinct between the two economic scopes. And I also put some questions there. We put some questions there for you to look at your free time. And also some of these examples of the disaggregating as well is there for you also to look at. So this is just a question for you. And I need a response. Now what we are saying is that which one of the following is a microeconomic issue? So let's look at point A, point B, point C, point D, up to E. Which of them is a microeconomic issue? Point E is talking about import and exports. Point D is talking about the Bank of Ghana raising interest rates. Point C is talking about unemployment. And then point B is talking about household price rising more rapidly. And then point A is also talking about government spending more than what it receives from tax. This is a total revenue. So if you look at what we are talking about, point A, point C, point D, up to E, are all talking about macroeconomic issues. It's only point B that speaks about
Good
household
morning.
income.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How is my girl? Has she come? Oh, okay.
Please.
Auntie Fatu is around.
Hello.
Oh,
We are
okay.
learning. We
That's
are
fine.
learning.
Can you
Sarah.
speak to the person?
We are learning.
So
Stop interrupting.
It's okay.
please,
It's okay.
please do you understand it now? The distinction between the two scopes of economics. So this semester we are going to look at micro. Next semester we'll be looking at macroeconomy in general. Now, I told you that economists make statements. They make hypotheses, they make observations, they make hypotheses, and based on the hypothesis, they make statements. And the statements that economists make, some have been put into rigorous scrutiny, scientific scrutiny. Okay, and that statement that they make is the fact. It's not a generalization. And the other statement that they make, it ought to be. It ought to be concept. Now, the statement of economics that economics make can be put into two. You have a positive statement, and you also have a normative statement. Economics, like any other person, want to know the truth. And since we are more interested in human behavior, we want to know the truth about how humans behave or individuals behave. And based on this, economists make predictions about economic behavior and assess validity of those predictions based on experience. Now, if you look at the Laffer curve that I told you that when we increase our taxes, our revenue is likely to increase. But there's another side of the coin that says that when we increase our revenue excessively, our taxes excessively, we increase the taxes excessively, then revenue is likely to decline. Now, for people to know that through excessive decline of revenue, taxes can have a negative impact on government's revenue, such statement must go into positive scrutiny or scientific scrutiny. So economics also observe patterns of behavior objectively with value judgment. as well. Now, when we talk about positive economics, they emphasize how people behave rather than how people should behave. So when we make a positive statement, it is direct. Economists attempt to observe patterns of behavior objectively without reference to appropriateness or inappropriateness of the behavior. So this objective value-free approach is based on scientific methods. It's called positive statement. So you cannot just come and make a statement. If your statement should be a positive statement, then it should be supported with some empirical rigor. Okay, so it should go through some scientific methods. So when I come here and I say that an increase in price of fuel is going to increase the quantity of fuel that is being bought, it is a positive statement that I've made. And such statement must be put into observation, and such statement must also be tested scientifically as well. Now, when we talk about positive statement, it also deals with objective and scientific explanation of the working economy, as I've talked about. Now, the task of a positive economics is to develop model. Now you know what model is. Like the one I showed you, the linear equation that I show you. And based on this model, we can make predictions or predict the reality of the economy. So if your model will tell you what you should do, when we do this, this is what is going to happen. Somebody can do a model on environmental degradation issue that we are experiencing now and say that what is worsening environmental degradation is as a result of poverty. And that means that when poverty increases, environmental degradation will increase. This is a positive statement. So when I tell you that an increase in poverty will increase environmental degradation, please do understand this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, let's look at some examples of a positive statement, although I've given you some. So whenever government increases the minimum wage, it will lead to a decrease in employment about the least skilled. So when minimum age increases, it will lead to unemployment among least skilled persons. This is a statement somebody has made, and we don't care either the statement the person has made is intuitive or unintuitive here. The person has made a positive statement saying that whenever minimum wage increases, unemployment, especially among least skilled labor, is going to decline. That is what he's saying. And this is a positive statement. So you can see the cost and effect, impact of wage increase, increase of minimum wage on employment among least skilled labor. Now let's take another one. It said an increase in tax will increase government revenue. However, an excessive increase will cause a decline in government total revenue. This is a statement somebody has also made. We don't care either it is an appropriate statement or it's inappropriate statement. We are seeing some impact analysis on the statement, and such a statement cannot just be made. It should go through scientific rigor or scientific explanation. And then to our environmental issue, yes, someone's work, he says that if carbon emission increases by 20%, air quality would improve. And the number of people diagnosed with asthma will be decreased significantly. So this is also a positive statement, meaning that when emission goes down, air quality will go down, air quality will improve. And by improving air quality, people that have asthma or that will get asthma as a result of with a reduction in the quality of air will also be reduced. Please do understand such a statement. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
let's look at a normative statement. So every statement that economics makes should be positive. Normative statements are also statements that we have accepted them They are statements that economists make. But here, there is a concept of what should have been done or how the world ought to be. So these two terminologies always must come in mind, that it should have been this, or the world should have been like this. So here it looks at the outcomes of economic behavior and asks whether they are good or they are bad, or whether they can be made better. It offers prescription, it also offers recommendation, but this time it is based on what? Personal value judgment. How you feel, how you think it should be. They are subjective anyway, they are non-testable as well, about what should or what ought to have happened. These are subjective, or it can also come from a logistic perspective, and they are subjective and they are not testable. They have not been scrutinized scientifically. They can be seen as a prescriptive analysis for policy economics. So somebody can say that the MPI that came, people are having their doubt on it. Somebody can just, it should have been this, but it should be justifiable. And what we are saying that, although it's based on your value judgment, it should be intuitive. It is something that should be intuitive. If it should have been done this way, it would have been better. But that doesn't mean that whatever you are saying is also correct. And that's why we are saying it is subjective. Subjective means that it is based on personal value judgment. You can tell me that I'm poor, but I can also tell you I'm not poor. It's subjective. All right. So let's look at some examples here as well. The government should subsidize health bills of the age instead of the rest of the population. So before 2017, the implementation of the policy, which is the free SHS, people said that government should do what? Should only sponsor the brilliant ones. So they said that, oh, if you get aggregate 15, then the free SHS should cover you. So when I make such a statement, it is a normative statement. Instead of you paying for everybody, why don't you pay for those who had maybe aggregate 15? It's a normative statement. And why would somebody make such a statement? Based on the intuition behind it is that it will reduce government expenditure or government spending. And then somebody should also say that we ought to extract oil in large quantities from rocks in Ghana. The problem of Ghanaian economy can be minimized if our ministers reduce their travel outside the country. So these are normative statements. It does not necessarily mean that it can be true or it can be false. That if they reduce their travel outside the economy, the Ghanaian economy problems will be solved. But what it's trying to, based on people's intuition, it has not been subjected to scientific scrutiny. That we took data of countries that have reduced their traveling. Ministers have reduced their traveling and how better their country is doing. Now, if we do that, that one we are making a positive statement. But if you say that, oh, if we should have reduced our traveling, ministers traveling outside this country, and by doing that, we think that the Ghanaian economy can improve. This is subjective statement, and this is based on an individual's objective analysis. All right. So I've put some examples of normative statement here for your study, which you can also look at it in other times. So I'll skip this one and go to the next topic, which is the major economic issue that we have. And this is the main reason why there is economics. As I sit here, there are a lot of things that I want to have. But when I was coming, I drank tea before lecture. Not that I don't want tea. I like tea, but maybe that is what I can afford. you ride bicycle to work. Not because, although you know the risk associated with riding bicycle or riding a motorbike to work, you would have wished to have a car. Now, the one who has a car and is using Toyota Corolla also wish to have Ford. But the means to acquire them is not there. So practically, the reason why we study economics is not that we are prepared. It is because we are maximizing or optimizing our scarce resources. And it is because of the problem of scarcity, which is the basic economic problem that we have. So let's assume that I need a laptop. I need a bowl of fufu. I need gobe. I also need tilapia. At the same time, I want a car. Practically, when you look at this, there are some of the things that I can acquire with my income. I can acquire the bowl of fufu. I can acquire the laptop. I can acquire the tilapia and the gobe. But with the Ford four-wheel drive SUV, I will not be able to acquire it because of my income. And because of this, I have to bear a cost. And by bearing that cost, I have to forego the ones that I cannot acquire. So in economics, we say we have trade-off. You trade off, you get one, you forgo one. Okay. So in practice, the basic problem that leads to the study of economics is scarcity. This is Kweku Mensah's desire, but he lacks the means to have them. If I ask you right now to tell me some, you will tell me more of your desire, what you desire to have, what you have forgone so far. Okay. Even in reality, men and women, the kind of person you want to marry or you want to date, you talk to someone, he tells you that no, for you, I'm not interested. You go to another person. You've made a choice. And that choice comes with a cost. That you have to forgo the first person that you think you love to go for the second person. So it tells you that every decision that we make comes with a cost in life. And that is what we are going to treat today. Okay. So on the other hand, we know that resources available to satisfy these wants are limited. So when we say the resources are limited, it does not mean that the resources are not there. They are there, but they are not enough. So if that is it, then this gives us the problem of scarcity. So why is economics concerned with? Our main concern, like I've told you, is the issue of scarcity. So how well we economics satisfy our unlimited wants, or individuals satisfy our unlimited wants in the world of limited resources. So the idea of scarcity, as I've told you, does not mean that the resources or the means are not available. What that means is that they are there, but they are not enough. When compared to the human wants that we need to satisfy. Okay, so human wants are numerous. If I ask you, you tell me a lot. They are numerous and they are infinitesimal. Up to infinity, you will tell me a lot of them. And they are also unlimited. While the means to satisfy these wants are limited. So you could see that there is a gap between them. Looking at what we need and what the resources available to satisfy them. So as long as our wants will exceed our available resources, scarcity will continue to persist. And this, we are saying, is a universal fact. Irrespective of who you are, there is always scarcity. So let's pause here and look at one thing. As we were discussing, we mentioned resources. Okay, so let's take our time to go through what resources is. Now, when we talk about resources, there are instances where you are going to see me. I will not be taking resource. I'll be saying, I'll be mentioning inputs. When I mention inputs or factors of production, I mean the same thing. So resources, they are the inputs or the factors of production that we use to produce goods and services. Anything that will provide, that is provided by nature or previous generation, that can be used directly or indirectly to satisfy human wants, can also be defined as a resource. So any of the definitions that we have put here can be taken as a resource. You can take any of them that you want. Resource in economics have been classified under 4 broad categories. Now, people are adding more resources, but for the sake of this course, let's stick to the 4 categories of resources. We have land, we have entrepreneur, we have capital. We have land, we have entrepreneur, we have capital. So let's categorize them. So I was telling you that we have 4, but people have tried to look at it resource from other perspective by looking at bringing in human capital into the arguments, and also natural resources. The natural resources basically covers everything about land. So look at land. When economists talk about land, they are not only talking about the physical land. Although we are talking about the space available, we are also talking about anything that we get from the land. So anything that we produce from the land or extracted from the land to economics is considered as a land. So let's keep it in mind here.
So gold is a land.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a component, yes. Okay. So if you tell me to write, and I write the 3 resources, and you are telling me raw materials, which you have mentioned, gold. Someone will say that land, raw material is also part. And even capital, when you talk about capital, the things that we have even produced, that we are going to use to produce goods and services, also serves as a capital. Unfinished goods. Please do understand here.
Yes, sir.
So land is very broad. Land, we are not looking at the physical space alone. We are looking also at anything that we are extracting from the environment. So here he put it natural resources. So you see that we put natural resource there, but we do not bring land. Okay. So it tells you that natural resource, land is also a natural resource. A natural resource is also a land. But the broader umbrella should be land, where natural resource will come under it. So resources provided by nature and used to produce goods and services. They are natural resources. Resources that are provided by nature and are used to produce goods and services. It's a natural resource. Now, when you talk about labor, we are looking at human efforts. We are looking at both the physical strength and the mental use to produce goods and services. The grain, your physique, and the mental use of human to produce goods and services is considered as labor. What about physical capital? In some book, you see they write only capital, which becomes more confusing. When people hear capital, they think it's about money.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why we put physical there to differentiate the two. So you can even, if you write capital, it's the same thing. Now here we are looking at stock of equipment. We are also looking at machineries. We are looking at infrastructures that are used to produce goods and services. Okay. So capital in itself can be a good. We have produced a good in order to aid production. Becomes a capital. Then we should have just gone straight and talk about entrepreneurship. But we brought human capital here. Human capital is now becoming more important capital. And that is what we are acquiring. That is the experience and the skills that one gets, either through experience, through his work, in order to use to produce goods and services. So to aid you to produce goods and services. So experience will make you produce goods and services at a faster pace compared to someone who is not experienced, or someone who does not have the knowledge. So through education, we are able to empower our human capital. And what about entrepreneur? the entrepreneur here, also we should also keep in mind that the entrepreneur also belongs to is coming from a household. So the effort used to coordinate the factors of production. So the entrepreneur, what he does is that he combines other factors of production, such as the natural resource, the land, the labor, the physical capital, and the human capital to produce an output. And it is the entrepreneur. So with this, we will know that. Then we are also saying that we have been mentioning the term goods, services, services.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, please go.
Please, why is that the human capital is not categorized under the labor, but it has been sidelined alone as this thing?
Yes, that's why I'm saying that you can add it to labor. But now human capital is becoming like I don't know, it's one of the important variables. Okay. So you can just, that's why I told you that we have 4 categories. We have the land, we have labor, we have the entrepreneur, and we have capital. Okay. But even now, people are adding social capital as well. Please do understand.
Yes, sir.
It's because of how important it is. But if you give me these 4, it's okay. But if you go ahead to give me the other human capital, this is also okay. Please do understand. So it's the same thing, just that we just separated it. So when we talk about social capital, I could have added social capital. Okay, so when we talk about social capital, can someone tell me what social capital is? You know, social capital is also part of human capital. Please, labor. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have always been hearing that Ghana there, if you don't know anybody, you will not go anywhere. Haven't we been hearing this? That
Yes,
is
sir.
social capital. Now people are telling us that now Christ is not about who you know, but it is who knows you and who is able to help you. Okay. So the definition of concept keep metamorphosing as and when people start thinking. So now it's not about, when we talk about social capital, we are not looking about how connect who you know. It is how connected you are. And it's the willingness of the person and the ability of the person that knows you to help you. Else you'll have the social capital and you'll be no one. Okay. All right. So we have been mentioning goods and services, goods and services. What is it? Now, when we talk about goods, they are tangible and intangible things for which more is preferred to less of it. Something becoming good means you want more of such an item than having less of such an item. Although we have good goods and we also have bad goods, but we are not going there. We'll go there in level 200. Thus, they are items we value or desire to have more of it. Okay? Anything that you value, either it is tangible or an intangible thing, that you value to have more of it becomes what? A good. What are services? Services are usually intangible acts for which people are willing to pay for. Example, what we are doing, tuition, medication, education, security. They are intangible, but we can feel it. We can experience it. Okay? And we are willing to pay for. Recreational benefits. People go to the beach. Those of you who are along the beach, you go to the beach. Why do you always want to go to the beach? Why do people want to go to the beach? It is the feeling that they derive, the recreational, the benefit that they are getting from the shore is what makes them go to the beach. Although they cannot see it, they cannot hold it, it's intangible, but they are willing to pay for a gate fee to enter the beach. Okay, so that is a service that is being rendered to you. Okay, so your desire to hold more goods doesn't mean you are selfish. No. Does everyone face scarcity in life? That's the basic question. So we are coming back to the scarcity issue. Does everyone face scarcity in life?
Yes.
Can we eliminate scarcity?
No.
This means
Nope.
no. We all have scarcity in life, but we cannot eliminate
Yes.
it because what we need are many.
Yes.
So let's go to the concept of scarcity. Now, the problem of scarcity can affect every economic agent. One, it can affect the households. Two, it can affect the firm. And three, it can affect the government as well. So let's take a household. Let's take that a child, your child, my child. Every morning, you know, these kids will call you, they need drink. Buy me drink, buy me drink. But meanwhile, you have only 5 CDs that day. And this child is telling you that I want a drink, a bigo drink. And this bigo drink, you know, is 4 CD. And maybe this small digestive biscuit, which is 2 CDs. It means, given your available resources, you cannot buy all these 2 for the child. You need to buy 1. So it means that you have to trade off. You have to sacrifice. You need to make a cost. The child will take 1, and the one that is not picked has to be forgone. So the one that is forgone becomes a cost that you have to bear. 2, a student who wants to go to a party. It is Saturday night. You want to go to party that night. So the available resource here you have is the Saturday night. And the time, you cannot use that same time to do your assignment. You want to go to a nightclub, but that's a Saturday night. You want to go to do your assignment. It is 7:30. The lecturer or the student must log in for the lecture. The same time, you are a deacon. You want to go to church. So you see, the time period is your resource here. And you need to choose between the 2. What about firms? So here we are saying that both the students and you, as well as the child, are experiencing scarcity. Now, what about firms? Firms' decision on what to produce. They decide on what to produce and what quantity must they produce. Now, in producing, they need some kind of technology to use in order to produce at the minimum cost. The quantity of factors of production, that labor, the land, to combine in order to employ. The arrangement for rewarding them, paying them, all comes with a constraint. And this has to do with financial resources. So if the firm, one way or other, does not have the requisite financial support to employ people who are who have the technological know-how, then it means that the firm has to sacrifice in terms of what to produce and how much to produce. So the firm also faces the issue of scarcity. Now, if you remember my Laffer curve argument, the Laffer curve argument we have been making, we are also saying that the government also makes revenue. Now, this NDC government wants to improve health. He wants to tighten defense in order to improve human welfare and other services, expand infrastructures, build taxes, build rules and other things. But where is government going to get revenue from? So when government expenditure is exceeding his revenue, government expenditure will always exceed its revenue. Now they are praising the government, he's doing well. Others are saying that no, government unemployment is too high. The health what they call it, national health insurance is collapsing. So the government may wish to invest more there, but maybe the government revenue is too low. So in that case, government has to prioritize the most pressing needs of the economy and do and sacrifice the rest that he cannot do. So the government, one way or the other, is also facing a problem of scarcity. Now, so due to scarcity, then there is a need for us to make a choice. Since we cannot have all our things, we need to choose. Okay, scarcity will force you to choose, justifying why economics is sometimes called science of choice. So we are saying that economics is based the idea of scarcity, and scarcity is forcing us to make a choice. And sometimes we can call economic a science of choice. So because of scarcity, and if you remember what we talked about, irrational behavior, talked about various behavior, we are bringing it concept here as a rational behavior. Though there is scarcity, you need to optimize your benefit. Optimizing benefit means that you must choose or make a choice in such a way that you are benefiting, but you are not making a cost. And for us to optimize or make a very good course, there is a need for us to make our preferences. List your preferences. Listing your preferences in a way that your most pressing needs will come first and the others will follow. So that is what economists call the scale of preference. So first, you need to draw your scale of preference before you make a choice. So the scale of preference is just a list of unsatisfied wants, the ones that have not been unsatisfied yet, in order of priority or preferences or importance. So you list them in order of importance. Now let's talk about a young girl or a young man who wants to go into marriage first. One, by the grace of God, after your national service, you have been able to rent a single room, but you still want to marry. You are sleeping on the floor. This time you say you want to get yourself a bed, a new bed. You also want a new mattress to impress. Meanwhile, your savings through your national service period was 5,000. So this one is telling us that the person's total income is 5,000. That is his total resource available to him at now. His needs are many. He wants a shoe that will cost him 500 Ghana cedis. He also wants a wristwatch that will cost him 800 Ghana cedis. He needs a radio set, and he also needs a TV set. So by prioritizing his wants, he has drawn a scale of preferences, and according to him, he needs something to sleep on first. He needs a mattress, he needs a shoe, a wristwatch, a radio, and a TV, which means that the radio and the TV are no pressing needs for him. Now, when we add everything, we are going to get 7,800, which means that his income is not sufficient to make him acquire all the things that he wants. Now, in this case, what he has to do is to make a choice. Now, once he has made a choice and have optimized, he cannot have more of everything. This means that with his income, he can have up to the wristwatch. Okay, so that is what Mika Kweku can have. And the TV, the radio set, and the TV set, he has to forgo them. So to get some, he must sacrifice some. And that is what we are saying is a trade-off. And that trade-off, which is the radio set and the TV that he's forgoing in order to have the 5 items that is above, is the cost that he has to face. So this has been explained. So there still has to be a trade-off. When we are talking about trade-off, what we mean is that you are exchanging one thing to get another thing. So the choice sacrifice, it presented that blah blah blah. So let me skip this. Okay. So once you are compelled to make a choice, you would be compelled to leave out some of your wants, as we could see from the table. So the man in question or the student in question has to forgo some of the things that he wanted. He has to forgo some of the things that he wanted. So, and that comes as a cost. Okay, in economics, we term it as an opportunity cost. And this is the value of the next best alternative that is forgone. Okay, so the opportunity cost of any action is the best alternative that is forgone. So the best thing that you choose not to do is the cost of the thing that you have chosen to do. So in this case, the opportunity cost is not in the monetary form. The opportunity cost is not a monetary thing that he has forgone, but the items, the best items that he has forgone. Okay, that's what you give up when you make a choice. This opportunity cost. So we've given a lot of definitions here for us to see. So when you look at the table, we will know the forgone items, and these are the attainable items that the man faces. So I put some examples here for us to look at it. Now, a child like with 5 pocket money who wants soft drink and also wants a digestive biscuit that will cost him 3 cedis. The soft drink and the biscuit will compete for the 5 cedi, and hence he has to make a sacrifice. He has to trade off and make a choice and forgo one. Now, for our students who wants to who has allowed assignment to accumulate and wants to go a party at night instead of sitting down at home to do his assignment, we also have his assignment and the party competing for that same Saturday night. Now, to our government who wants defense and social welfare for his people, but he has a limited tax revenue, means that both the defense and the social welfare services, we know some of them, the social welfare services like the livelihood empowerment against poverty and those things, then it means that tightening defense or supporting social services has to battle or compete with the limited available revenue that the government put up. So in summary, we're saying that we have wants, we have available resources. But since our wants exceed our resources, because our resources are limited and our wants are unlimited, there is a need for us to make. This brings us to scarcity. And anything that is believed to be scarce in supply in economics is said to be an economic good. So that's why we are describing them as economic good. Then because of scarcity, we have to make a choice. And the choice comes with a cost. And the forgone cost is what we term as the opportunity cost. So this table can help you to explain the thing better. Please, is there anything to do? Question before we move to our next question, this topic.
Sir, please explain the summary again.
Yes, I'm saying that this is a summary of what we have discussed so far. And we are saying that we have wants. Human beings have wants. And our wants are many. Our wants are many. So we can even say that there are some men, if you give them the opportunity, they will marry more than 3. But because of their resources, that is not helping them, or maybe their church will not allow them. So your resource is becoming a constraint towards your wants. Please do understand. It's not making you achieve all your wants. And because our resources are many compared to our wants, it will always lead us into the issue of scarcity. So we are not saying that our resources are not there, they are there, but they are not enough to cover all the numerous or the unlimited wants. And we are saying that any good that is said to have a scarcity, a bit scarce, becomes economic good. Why is it economic good? because it begins to have value. Okay, if something is there in abundance, it does not really have value because you are not actually paying for it or sacrificing for it. And that is why money is said to be scarce, so that people will start appreciating it. Now, when something is scarce, because of scarcity, we make choices. You choose the one that is most pressing to you and forgo the ones that are not that much pressing to you. Okay, so because of scarcity, but before you make the choice, you draw your scale of preferences and you forgo some, you trade off. So that the ones that you have forgone becomes a cost to you. And that is what we are terming as the opportunity cost. Please, is that understandable?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, please.
Please, the person who has created a WhatsApp to share the link so that we can join.
All right.
So,
So
I want to look at the opportunity
slice
cost aspect.
Yes, the slides. I will share the slides after every lecture. If I'm on the page, okay.
I've added you.
You've added me, okay. Or even if there's so I'll be sharing the slides as and when we finish a topic.
Okay.
And then, like I also told you, if there is a need for us to meet for a tutorial, I'm ready. We'll meet as well. So you just tell me when I have time to meet and it's going to be more practical. I'm telling you. Please, the question. Please, someone said he wants to ask a question. Can I go on if the question is not coming?
So we are waiting for the link, for the WhatsApp link.
It's already there.
The link is there.
So, I actually, the link was sent to me in my mail, so I don't have it.
It's in the chat. The link is in the chat.
Maybe the person just joined, so you must not see the info, some of the messages. So you can just
please.
So somebody can forward it. Okay.
Say I've put it in the group so you can join.
Yo, for me, I'm already there. I'm already joined. I've already joined. Okay, I'm talking about those people who want to join. But for me, there we have already joined. So
yes.
Okay, sir.
I just we posted the link so you can check the chats.
Okay.
Oh yes, after this, maybe in the afternoon, I will share the WhatsApp the slides.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share the slides.
That was what I wanted to ask.
Oh, I'll always be sharing my slides. I will share my slides. So let's go on with the possibility frontier. So one tool that usually we use to explain the concept of scarcity has to do with the opportunity cost. Has to do with the production possibility frontier. You can say possibility frontier, possibility curve. Some people use frontier, some people use curve. It's the same thing. So scarcity, as we have said, and opportunity cost, as we have described so far, are unavoidable. And because the reason why they are unavoidable is because there is problem of scarcity. Our both natural and human resources are not enough or to satisfy our needs or our wants. Okay. So society therefore decide on how much of these resources are to be allocated among different possible users. Let's take an example. For example, how much of our available resource should go to say foodstuff for the individual, or to even to the firm, or to foodstuff production. A firm that is producing foodstuff and also doing other things. So they ask themselves how much of their resources, how much of their available resources should they put into production of foodstuffs? Then how much of government foreign reserves that is be kept there can the government use in order to add up to importation of goods and services that are consumable? Assuming there are other goods and services, there are shortage of consumable goods. Remember sometime when farmers were complaining about grains. So the government have to come in to import grains. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hello, please.
Yeah. Some of us we have another class to join at 9.
At 9 o'clock. Or it should be give me some 5 minutes or 15 minutes to wrap up.
Okay.
When are you joining that class?
Just now. It's
Just
now.
now. Just now. Okay.
I think it's 9:30.
9:30. Yeah.
Yes.
The next class is 9:30. From 9 to
I think we'll be going for break.
Break for 30
Yeah,
minutes, then
break
9:30 to
from 9 to
10:30.
9:30.
yes, give me 15 minutes to cover the time that I've wasted. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. If that is okay. So that I cover the time that I've wasted.
All right, sir.
Okay. Because of technical challenges and other things. Okay. So, like I've told you, the common technique that we use to explain this fundamental economic problem of scarcity and choice is the concept of the opportunity production possibility frontier. Okay. So, for short, we can say the PPF or the PPC. So, a PPF is used to illustrate opportunity costs that an economy may face in the production of goods and services. So, it can be seen as a model of scarcity, a model of choice. It's also a model of opportunity cost. So the PPF, as we are going to show, will also show you the trade-off among choices that we make. So we are saying that the PPF is a curve showing different combination of goods and services that can be produced in a full employment, where the available supply of resources and technology is given or is fixed. So this can be a definition that you can keep.
Possibility for peace.
So this is a definition that you can keep. Or you can also say that it illustrates the possible or the maximum combination of output. Here we are bringing in a different word, output. When we talk of output, we are talking about the goods and services that are being produced. Okay. And when we talk about input, we are referring to the factors of production that we have discussed. So it illustrates the possible. So we are looking at the maximum output, combination of outputs per period of time, given the available resource allocation that is fully employed using the best known technology of production. So here it means that when you put all your technology, when you put all your inputs, the maximum output that comes out, the curve is showing that maximum output that is coming out. The PPF also represents all different combination of goods and services an economy can produce at a maximum efficiency. It is called PPF because the graph shows the possible outcome of product when all productive resources are fully employed. So it means that you cannot go beyond it as well. Now, let's make some possible assumptions before you go to the PPF. Now, we are making assumption that, one, for simplicity's sake, we are assuming that the economy or even the firm or whatever produces goods and services that they are produced are only two. So you are saying that only two goods are produced in the economy. It means that with all the available resources that the society has, they have to make a choice between two classes of goods. So here we are looking at rice and then we are looking at cocoa. Let's take these two goods. So let's take production of rice and then let's take production of cocoa. So the economy in question produces only two goods, and these two goods is rice and is cocoa. Now there is full employment of resources. It means that all inputs available to produce cocoa and to produce rice are being put in place. No resources lying idle. We are putting all resources into use. In that case, resources are fixed. They are given. Because resources are fixed, there's evidence of scarcity in it. And technology that is said to advance production is also fixed. Efficiency exists as well. So we will talk more about efficiency. So here we are talking about there's efficiency. Either there's economic efficiency or there's technical efficiency, there's efficiency. So we'll talk about efficiency maybe in the next class or next year. Okay. So let's talk about technical efficiency. Technical efficiency simply means that with your available resources, you are producing at the optimum level of output. Please do understand. With technical efficiency, we are looking at the output that you are coming out with. You are producing the maximum output. That's technical efficiency. And economic efficiency, we are looking at the cost and the output that you are producing. But for the sake, let's stick with technical efficiency. We are not interested in the cost. We are only interested in the maximum output that the firm is producing. Now, this is what the firm can produce. A bag of rice. That's so point A. It tells you that at point A, given the economist technology and everything, all his inputs, we are going to have the following schedule. Okay, schedule means it's just a table. So we are having the rice, we are having the cocoa, all of them measured in tons. So if we put at A, if the firm put all their resources into perspective, into production, without producing rice, they can produce 15 tons of cocoa and 0 tons of maize. In the same way, if the firm decide to put all their resources into cocoa or into rice, they will produce 5 tons of rice and 0 tons of cocoa. This is what it means. Now, given this information, we can draw on a Cartesian plane. I hope you know a Cartesian plane, the XY axis. We can just draw a horizontal axis and our vertical axis and plot these values there. So when we plot these values there, what we have there, we are going to have something like this. And we'll join all the points with a line, a straight line. So at this point F, we are producing 0 cocoa, but we are producing 5 tons of what? Of rice. Please do you get it? Now, let's go on. So what we are saying is that the firm is here at point A, and the firm noticed that at point A, I am producing 0 rice, but our people need rice. If our people need rice, then we need to move some of our resources. And because the resources are said to be given, the resource that we use to produce cocoa, we have to sacrifice some of these resources in order to produce some amount of what? Rice. So in that case, we are moving from point A to point B. So what the society does is that they reduce the quantity of cocoa that they have produced by 1. So they will move from 1 and 14 and come to 14. So when I produce 14 tons of cocoa, that means that I can produce 1 ton of rice. Now, let's also keep in mind that every point outside the PPF, like point J, is an unattainable point. Why is it unattainable point? Because the firm or the society does not have the capacity, the technology to produce at that level. Okay, given the society's technology, they can produce up to where the lines are. Up to this is the maximum output that they can produce. This is the optimal level. So they cannot produce anything above the PPF or the PPC. Now, assuming the producer, the society is also producing at scale. If they produce at scale, then we are saying that they are not being inefficient because they have a larger space to produce. Given their technology, they can produce at this point at C, but they are producing at scale. So at scale, then they are said not to be technically efficient at that level because they are producing on a lower output. Okay, so from A to B, the firm or the society sacrifices 1 unit of what? Of cocoa for an extra unit of rice. That means that there is a trade-off. So we are saying that every choice along the PPF involves a trade-off. So if they choose point B, they have to sacrifice 1 tons of cocoa for an extra bag or ton of rice. So that is the trade-off. So on this PPF, we must give up some cocoa to get more rice, or you give some rice to get more cocoa. So moving along the PPF means that there is the need for us to sacrifice some quantity of cocoa for an additional quantity of rice. And that is what we term as the trade-off, or that is what we term as the cost. Okay, so let's continue. Now we are saying that the PPC gives an idea of the opportunity costs that the economies are faced with the when giving economic decision. So when they decide to whether be on point B, assuming they were on point A, although all points on the PPF are efficient points, points outside the PPF are not efficient. At point A, although it's an efficient, but it's economically unreasonable point. Because why should you be producing 0 rice but 15 tons of cocoa, whilst your people need rice? So if your people need rice, then you have to balance it and come to point B as well. So moving along, the PPC indicates how much of one good must be given up in order to obtain more of the other good. Example, from A to B or from B to C. So you can calculate the changes on your own when you are at home to look at it. I'll give you the formula and then we'll be going through. So this occurs because resources in the economy are fully unutilized, and therefore the production of one good can be increased. Resource has to be moved from the production of one to the other. Now, as we move down along the PPF, we produce more rice, but the quantity of cocoa we can produce decrease. So it means that the quantity of cocoa we can produce decreases as well. So the opportunity cost of a bag of rice is the cocoa that we have forgone. Please do understand here. So if you want to find the marginal let's go on. I'll introduce you to it. So the PPC indicates that the opportunity costs that an economy faces increases along the PPC. Okay, so if we do the opportunity cost, you will see that it's along us, and when we move along, the sacrifices that we make increases as well. So from here, we could see that we sacrifice 1 for 1, but when we come here, we are from A to B, we are going to sacrifice A to C. We are going to sacrifice, I think, 3 for 2, and from B to C, we are going to sacrifice C 2 for 1. Okay, so the sacrifices will keep increasing absolute value like that. This is because some resources are better suited for the production of some goods than to the production of the other goods. Why is the PPC not straight line, but we are seeing a certain line looking like a concave? It's concave, eh? Now, this is because the PPC curve tells us about the increasing. The 15 is up, eh? This is because the PPC curve tells us about the increasing opportunity costs that an economy is faced with. Okay, so we are looking at the principle of increasing opportunity costs applies when we come to the PPC. There's nothing like negative opportunity cost. And then let me show you how we calculate the slope of the PPC. And then we can end here and continue another time. Okay. So the slope of the PPC at any given point is called the marginal rate of transformation. So in economics, when you say marginal, what we mean is that we are talking about change. Okay. And the marginal rate of transformation is basically looking at the slope or the change of the PPC. Now it describes the numerical rate, the rate at which one good can be transformed into the other. It is also called marginal opportunity costs of either the opportunity costs of rice in terms of cocoa at the margin. So the opportunity cost is calculated as change in good that is being reduced over change in the good that is been increasing. So let's look at it now and look at the opportunity cost. So the opportunity cost for point A to B will be 15 minus 14 divided by 1 minus 0. Okay, 15 from point A, we have 15 minus 14. You are looking from A to B, all over 0 minus 1. So normally you are going to get a negative value, but neglect the negative value and focus on the positive value. So you are going to get 1 over 1. No, it's minus. So what it's telling you is that when you reduce Matiko. Hello. Hello.
Sir, we can hear you,
Oh,
sir.
sorry.
You can hear me. So what I'm saying is that you are going to get a negative value, okay? 15 minus 4 is going to give you 1. Then you are going to get 0 minus 1. It's going to give you negative 1. So negative 1 divided by negative 1. What is that telling you? That is telling you that there is a negative relationship between these two variables. That is rice and cocoa. So it means that when we reduce rice, okay, when we reduce cocoa by 1, we are going to increase rice production by 1. That is what it means. Now let's look at B to C. The marginal rate of transformation from B to C. From B to C, you are going to have 14 minus 12 divided by
0
1. No,
0
B to
minus
C.
2.
B to C. Check B to C. We are not moving from A to C, we are moving from B to C.
14 minus 12
14
over
minus
0
Over
No,
1 minus 2.
o-
Over
it's
1
going to,
over
minus
0
2.
minus 2.
no, 0 will not come in.
No, no, coming. 1 minus 2.
1
1 minus
1
Minus
minus
2.
2.
1 minus
1 minus 2.
Yes, that is when we are moving from B to C. If
C.
you are moving from A to C, then your 0 can come in. Then that one is going to be 0 minus 2. But here we are moving from B to C. It's going to be 2 over minus 1. So what that is telling us is that when we reduce cocoa by 2 tons, okay, we are going to increase rice production by a ton. Please, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, for the sake of time.
Sir, please, can you come again with the formula?
No, this is the formula. This is just the formula we use to find the slope of any circle.
Change in
The
good.
line.
That
The
is
slope of
being
any line.
reduced.
So we are saying that change in the good that is being reduced over the change in the good that is being increased. Okay. So we are looking at the good that is being reduced, which is on the y-axis that we are seeing it. So if we are looking at here, the cocoa keeps reducing, and then we'll divide it by the change in the good that is being increasing. And what we are saying that the slope should be always negative because of the negative slope nature of the PPC. And when it is negative, it means that when you reduce 1, you increase 1. That is what it means by when you are getting a negative relationship. Please do understand. But when you are getting a positive relationship, it means that when you increase 1, the other one must also increase. I hope you do understand that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's end here. We are done with the PPM. Next time we'll continue from where we left over, and then I'll share the slide with you. So if you people read the slide and you think you're okay with it, then we can introduce the next topic. So if you want me to introduce the next topic, then you tell me as well. But we'll continue from where we left. Okay. Continue.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I really thank you for your time and everything. I want to find out something. If there's any question, ask, and if there's no question, then we can end the lecture for today.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, I wanted to ask that. Please, can you please send us the slides, the lesson, and
The
in
audio.
Yeah.
The recording.
Yes, please.
I'm not the one managing it. I think there is we always have someone who monitors the group. So I am very sure, I'm confident it's recorded. Yes, it's being recorded. It's being recorded. If you can see, this meeting is being recorded. And then they will share. They will share it with you. I know that the main essence of recording it is to have it shared. I can see it's being recorded here. So obviously to be shared. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it will be shared.
Because